How's it going down there, girls? Oh, you looking forward to your party tonight, Haley?
Uh-huh.
Awesome. Oh, that's nice. Just like that's like a back massage. Sweet.
Is it time?
It's not time for your party yet. Hey folks, Don from wellrig.com. Today we're taking a look again at one of the toughest products on earth. It's called the Camo Bunt XL. I got a problem today. My daughter is having 3 or 4 friends over. We're already a family of 5. We don't have space. What do? Well, I've got these stacking bunk cots sitting in my garage just for a problem like this, and for whatever, if you want to go camping or anything like that. Cool thing is they're not just the only bunk cots you'll ever find on the market. They are built like tanks. 350, 300-pound men can lay on bottom and top and they're good to go. I mean, so a guy my size, no worries. Yeah, I'm not 350 pounds, just saying. But anyway, we're gonna have to take a look at them. I'm gonna get them set up for my daughter tonight, and I thought I'd do a review at the same time. Okay, you know, with so many camping equipment bags, they come so tightly packed that, I mean, it takes a miracle to get them back in the bag. That's probably one of the biggest curses of camping, or wherever. Even bring your own bed setups. I mean, you can't get them back in the bag. You can't get even blow-up mattresses back in the bag. But check it out here with the camo bunk. There's plenty of space to put stuff away, and it's not rocket science. You know, you got the instructions right here and everything set up. Basically, both bags are almost identical except for the extension leg on one set. The other thing I want to point out is these bags aren't like just cheap canvas. They're solid, very well put together around the zippers, and the canvas itself is very heavy duty. The stitching as well. I mean, they're designed to carry a fairly hefty, you know, amount of weight. I believe they're about 35 pounds a piece, and they do a good job of that. I've had this set for years and they're doing great. Is it going to hold together? You see it moves a little bit like that. Like, what happens if my kids start jumping on it? Is this thing just going to fall apart? No, I guarantee you it will not fall apart. It's held together with these kind of innovative proprietary disc connectors, and they use friction to hold in place. But just to show you how it works, if I lift up on one end, the friction's still holding it. And look, that's all that's in there. So even an upward movement will keep them there. If you're a little worried, Disco Bed sends along one of these just in case you really have rambunctious kids that decide they want to rip and tear with it. All you do is you get the strap and you just clip it on there. It's not going anywhere. Not going anywhere. Right? So let's have a look at, I'm going to take a close-up look at this and really show you how the connectors go together. It's real simple. It's pretty ingenious. Okay, so here's the proprietary disc bracket that makes it possible to stack these beds, and it's very simple. Use friction, but at the same time it holds in very well. You have to give it a little tug to get it out, and there you go. And then I'll just rotate it a little bit so you can see how it comes together. It's nice, it's you know, these push buttons. You see this in camping and a lot of other tubes type connections, but this one has that button. You just push it in and release. Now what makes it possible for the mattress or the sleeping surface to stay taut is this. You see how it kind of pushes out. It's already tight at this point, but once you get it down in here, she's locked, and this whole surface, if you can see it, this surface here becomes very, very tight, but yet comfortable. Well, I'm not a small guy, and the reason why I got the Camo Bunk XL is because I didn't want to feel constricted when I was laying down. This one leaves you plenty of room to do a nice rollover, you know, like a beached whale. No problems. So you can get narrower versions of the Camo Bunk, and that's great if you're really stuck for space, but I would highly recommend getting the XL version. You know, it makes all the difference, you know, having a good night's sleep, whether you're out at camp or you're at the cottage and you need to have some friends over to have a good rest, or whether you're visiting the in-laws or whatever, taking them on vacation, it's a good idea. Get the big one, I think. So the frame is one of the drawbacks. The frame is strong, but that means it's also heavy. It's heavy duty. What does that mean? It means weight. You're not taking this thing backpacking, not unless you got a pack horse or something like that. But you can take it camping, especially if you're just pulling the car up at a camp spot and pulling the tent out, or you want to sleep more people, your children have a friend they want to take along and you don't have quite enough space in your tent. One of these is awesome. One of the greatest ideas I've ever thought. I mean, it's ingenious. Try to find, I challenge you to find any other camp cot that stacks. Think about the multiplication factor of being able to sleep more people in the same amount of space. This is why NGOs, the UN, and a lot of refugee agencies love these. They use them in hospitals. They're so rugged and you can sleep a lot of people in very tight areas. Okay, so try this on for size. This is one of the super neat things about this bunk. It doesn't really have to stay that way during the day. You can transform it and use it for multi-purpose. First of all, what could you use it for in the camp? You could use it to store a lot of things. Say if it's just you and you're in a small tent, but you're staying for an extended period of time, well, you can use the stacking space, for instance, and just put all your stuff on one row, keep the floor clear, right? And still have a sleeping surface. Now here's the cool thing about these. The disco bed, we'll give it a tug here. There we go. And then we'll go over here. Now the reason that popped up, you remember, is because I haven't actually connected the strap, which I will tonight with the kids. And then this one comes up, and you just better to give it a little hit like this, and it comes up. Now, watch this. Just pop that down, just like that. And yeah, there's a bar there, but what you have basically during the day, it's a nice couch. What I would do is maybe take your sleeping bag, if you're a camper, and just roll it up and put it against here. It's really not that uncomfortable at all, especially if you're just putting your shoulder against it. It's pretty nice. So think about that. You got a rainy day at camp. What do you do? What are you gonna just stay there laying on the beds, or you can sit down and chat and sit 3 or 4 people across here? Shouldn't be a problem at all, unless they're big people. But you know, average size person, we've had 3 or 4 people sitting on, no problem whatsoever. So I'd like you to notice something. You'll see right here some Velcro pads all the way back over here as well, and one up there. And these are designed to be used for extra storage, which you can buy separately or with a kit, and it comes over and hangs like this, and you can get end pieces as well that attach to the end rails. You can use that for extra storage if you want. Yeah, you know, you see, I don't know if you can see me, the distance between here and here isn't enormous. I mean, there could be a little bit more space, and I could be wrong, but I think on the Disco Bed website, on the manufacturer's website, you can find extensions for the legs to get it up a little higher. But yeah, for the sake of space, I think they kept it at this level, but I think you can extend them higher. You're gonna have to go online and verify that. So I'm a decent sized guy, and you lay down here. What do I got? I don't know, maybe about 1.5 feet or a little less ahead of me. I can bend my legs up, my knees, pull them up. If you're a bigger guy, now you got to remember that when somebody's sitting on there, this still sag down a little bit, so you do lose some space. Nevertheless, you'll be able to roll over with plenty of room and not worry about bumping the person ahead of you. When you get up at night though, I I remember a couple times I did bump the guy on top once or twice when I got up. Overall, you know, I would say I would encourage, actually this might sound weird, but I'd encourage the bigger person to sleep on top, the kids and the lighter people to sleep down below, just for the space thing. Unless maybe you have some claustrophobia of some kind, but it's not like you're sleeping on the space shuttle and you have to slide in this way to sleep. So overall, yeah, perfectly acceptable amount of space between here and here. And I'm okay with it, and I think it's decent enough. Okay, so here's my final verdict on the Camel Bunk. Look, I hate to say it, but I don't want to sound like I'm gushing, but I am a real big fan of this bunk setup. They are industrial grade. They do cost. That's another thing. You know, you're going to be paying the equivalent of 2 top tier bunks when you pick up a set. They come in sets. The cool thing is like you can get replacement parts no problem off the Disco Bed website. You can pick up a set like this, you know, ranging in from $350, sometimes upward from there. But still, this one of the things that I think these would be great for, and we use them, is a semi-permanent setup. We had a camp retreat project that I worked on with another friend of mine, and we had a wall tent set up for about 2.5 years. And we had 2 sets of these Camel Bunks set up in there, and they worked great. Just amazing. So if you're thinking, you know, you've got kind of in a transition time and you're like, well, you know, I'm moving from place to place, and you don't want to get a bunch of huge furniture, but consider getting one of these, especially if you have a couple kids or something like that. My kids slept on this when we were between houses. I had 2 of my kids on these for about a month and a half, and they were perfectly comfortable. If you find that you really need more, of course, then you can just get a nice foam topper and put it on top of there. You can get those camp toppers that make it, I mean, then you'll be sleeping like a king. But that's all I would say. I'm a big fan of them. I think that the ability to use them in so many different ways. This bunk is not just a camp cot. It's a couch. You can use it for storage. You can, even if you want to leave it set up in your garage and use it for storage, these things are solid and rugged. Other point is, one of the coolest ideas I've ever seen online on YouTube is a guy that actually fit this in to a Chrysler minivan, and he used it as his bug out vehicle. Now, you know, I'm not into prepping or anything like that, but hey, if you're into like vanlife.com or something like that, consider this, because you could store stuff and sleep on the surface and you still use the space in your van or whatever vehicle, camper vehicle. If you're working on a project vehicle for campers, this might just be the right thing for you. Anyway, if you're interested in more products like this, top-end, super rugged products, check out wellrig.com, where I continue just to keep looking into the very best and toughest. You know, are you sick of mediocrity? Mediocre products that just fill the landfills? Wellrig.com is all about the toughest and the best. Also, I'd love if you could subscribe to this channel, support, you know, just share or whatever. That'd be awesome. Looking forward to continuing to share with you guys all more super durable products. Catch you guys next time.